Well, the truth is you look
Cheers. Well, you look fine. You know what
fly.
else?
Fly like spaceships.
Pretty fly for a white guy. Give it to me, baby.
Good thing, good thing, don't wreck a good thing, don't wreck a good thing, a good thing.
All right, we're off. Welcome to Adam and the Bee episode 3, where we talk about music, relationships, and all of the above and
Relationships
a whole lot more.
and music.
Yes. So I'm here with the amazing BINX, the African Bee.
Did you forget my name there for a second?
I was trying to figure out. I was like, do I call her B on the podcast?
I feel like there was a very dramatic pause of, what's her name again? I knew it last night. I knew her name again. What was it? I'm
gonna give all of you a secret. So if you don't know your girlfriend's name after 3 years, you come up with nicknames. Honey, especially for the bee.
Perfect.
What else? Sweetie. Bubbles is a big
Bubbles
one.
is a number one.
Because she's so bubbly.
Bonka Bean,
I have no idea because I love coffee so much. It makes me feel
no one
like
knows
we're
where that
drinking
nickname
coffee.
came from.
If you drink coffee, you love coffee. So you're like, I want some Bonka Bean.
We're going to come up with our own coffee brand. The next time we're going to be here with our coffee mugs and we're going to be
Bonka Bean
coffee.
She doesn't even drink coffee, so that would be a really awkward
I don't, but maybe
brand sponsorship there.
It's very true. Well, maybe Bonka Bean is like the coffee, what's the word? Manipulator, like what the coffee clone. So it tastes like coffee, looks like coffee, but it's not really coffee.
It's not coffee.
But I do want you to let us know in the comments below if you think that Adam forgot my name, or if you think that this was just he was just thinking of a very clever name to call me today.
It was tough because you go by BINX, B, and the African Bee. So there are like 3 alter egos. It's like Eminem, Slim Shady, Marshall Mathers. Like you don't know which
That's
one
exactly
you're
right.
getting
I'm definitely
on
Eminem.
any given day.
I'm like the next Eminem.
Lose yourself in the moment you
won't, that you better never let it go. Oh,
one of the greatest
subscribe
rappers
to
of all
me
time.
everywhere.
I was talking about me. Oh, but Eminem is no. Of course, I'm talking about Eminem.
Well, the real Slim Shady, please stand up. All right.
I was gonna say, well, the real space woman, please stand up.
This is true. For some reason, we are galactic today. So, welcome to this very galactic podcast episode.
Well, we're celebrating the launch of the podcast.
That's exactly what we were doing
on episode 3.
On episode 3, because every episode is a chance to reinvent yourself and to launch yourself.
I love that.
Yeah.
So how are we going to reinvent ourselves today?
Well, I think this speaks for it. You know, we were about to take off into places we've never been before.
Nice.
So we've got this very galactic space. We got some watermelon juice today.
This, by the way, this was sponsored by NASA. Like they actually gave me this shirt.
They did?
They were like, Made of Atoms, we want to be a part of the brand. We're going to give you this amazing shirt. And did they sponsor yours?
Totally. Thank you, NASA.
Yes.
We appreciate you.
Well, the truth is you look
Cheers. Fly. Well, you look fine. You know
fly.
What else?
Fly like spaceships.
Pretty fly for a white guy. Give it to me, baby. And all the girls say I'm pretty fly for a white guy.
I'll be honest. I think we just wanted to do this podcast today just so that we can have watermelon juice. That was the whole motivation of the podcast. Get to the watermelon juice.
I don't deny that. I really don't deny that. He just bought an insane amount of watermelon juices and juices in the fridge. And today was the perfect opportunity to crack open a Frosty because summer's about to end and watermelon juice is about to go out of style. So,
I would say the watermelon juice is never going out of style.
It never is.
I was like tarnished with seeded watermelons my whole life. So the fact that I'm in a position in life to have seedless watermelon juice is incredible.
I don't even know if they make seeded watermelon juice.
But like growing up, having seeded watermelon, that was a thing if you were on the less fortunate side. But these days we're in a different position.
That's so true. I forgot that like in America you can get like cut slices of watermelons like ready to go in a little container. I mean, I've been out of South Africa for what, 8, 9, 10 years now, who knows? They probably do offer sliced watermelon without the seeds, but I'll be going home soon, so I will keep you updated on the seedless watermelon slices.
Today's podcast is brought to you by watermelons.
All right, so we've got a fun episode for you guys today. Lots of fun things. We're going to talk about self-care. We're going to talk about Billie Eilish. We're going to talk about, what else have we written there on the notes?
Good question.
Busking, changing with the times as an artist, adapting to change. So we're going to get into a lot of good stuff.
Let's talk about relationships.
I would love to.
How do you feel? Oh, whoa, that was not the sigh I was expecting. I was like,
You know, people say that to me all the time. Whenever I sigh, people are like, what's wrong? And I'm like, there's nothing wrong. I'm just remembering to breathe.
I was like, wow, we really got to put some work into this relationship.
That sigh was just a, hey, you're holding your breath. Let it out.
It's because of the podcast, hopefully not the relationship.
Who knows? I guess we'll never know. How do you
Well,
feel?
I feel good. And part of that is self-care, and that's going to be our word of the podcast.
We
for
need like a
relationships.
cool sound to like intro that, like the word of the week.
You got to insert the sound effect. That's where our editor.
All right, let me insert it with my mouth. You go.
All right, so our word of the week is going to be self-care. I said it like I'm on a game show.
And I felt like it was on a game. I felt like it was the sound I made sounded like when you turn the wheel and it goes.
This segment is brought to you by Wheel of Fortune.
We have a lot of sponsors for this episode, but seriously, we have no sponsors. So we're waiting on all of you.
Well, let's get into the juicy stuff here and let's talk about self-care.
Let's do it. So how would you say individually and in a relationship, why is it important to have self-care, and what do you do that promotes and encourages your self-care on a daily or weekly basis? Like, how often are you taking care of yourself emotionally and physically?
Yeah. Well, the reality is for me recently, there's somebody I came across that has shared a lot of insight into mindfulness, consciousness, and that's Sadhguru. So for anybody who doesn't know Sadhguru, that's Sadhguru.
Actually, I have learned this. It's SAD, random H, and then guru.
There you go. So Sadhguru, a million things
Wait, I
are
think
online.
did I get that right? I don't
You
know.
did get that right. You got that right.
Okay.
So Sadhguru, there's way too much to unpack in a 30-minute episode of this, but the general idea is doing everything with a certain level of consciousness. So for me, my mind has a tendency to run throughout the course of a day, especially if we're excited about something. It can almost take us down a wormhole of different thoughts and all the million things that we have logistically to do throughout the day, all the creative things that we're working on, just all of the work that we have throughout the course of a day. And that can get overwhelming. So for me, I would say the beginning is the anchor, right? So the yoga, the meditation, the running, those are three big things that anchor me in the morning. And then I take time for myself. So I do my piano lessons first thing in the morning because that's me putting myself first.
Right. You're taking time for Adam first.
Yes.
And then
And then from there, I expand that to the rest of the day. So I prioritize what the day needs to look like, what I want to achieve, and then also being conscientious throughout the course of that day. So if anything, it's finding the balance of focusing only on that task at a given point in time and then moving to the next task. But to be fair, I'm not 100% at this yet. So this is something that you and I are both figuring out how to balance because we easily go down the wormhole, get into the creative space, overwork ourselves, get to exhaustion. So
burnout is so real in this household.
it is. So the reality is self-care, a big part of it is checking in with yourself throughout the course of the day. So the same way we have to check in with each other as couples, a bigger part of it is just, are you checking in with yourself? Are you seeing how you feel emotionally, things of that sort? But with that said, how do you feel about self-care?
Well, that's the funny thing is we're always reminding ourselves to check in with friends, check in with family, check in with loved ones. And that is important. And that is really, really important. But we also often overlook checking in with ourselves.
Yeah.
We forget that this is a human with a mind and a heart, and you don't know everything about yourself. We're
100%.
always consistently learning. I learn stuff about myself every day that I didn't know existed, with how I react to things, what I think, how I feel. I'm always unpacking that. So this year has been so awesome for me and my personal growth, because I've been taking a lot more time to ask myself, why am I feeling this way? Why am I excited by this? What's motivating me? Why is that motivating me? It's asking those deeper questions for yourself. That's kind of what happened, is like we're like speeding at 1,000 miles per hour
It feels that way at times, right?
always. And then like when COVID happened, I feel like everyone just suddenly just stopped. They stopped moving.
Yeah.
And then everyone was like, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? And I think that's how I started getting into my self-care, was I started thinking about, why do I want certain things? Why are my desires there? Why do I desire certain things? Why do I So basically for me personally, self-care, I've been doing little tweaks to my daily habits and routines to try to set myself up for feeling better throughout my day, because I noticed I get burnout very easily. I get tired very easily, and I'm always tired actually. Not recently, because I've been making these amazing changes that have helped, but I think when you're young and you're so tired all the time, you kind of need to start asking yourself, what is causing the drainage of your energy, right?
Absolutely.
So for me, I'm taking little tips, like reading, for example. We weren't reading for a long time, and suddenly I was like, I'm gonna slip in as soon as I wake up. It's gonna be the first thing I do. I'm gonna do 5 to 10 minutes. If I can do more, cool. But I actually found studies that say that if you read before doing anything else in the morning, it promotes concentration. So for me, being able to concentrate, it eliminates me beating myself up emotionally later on in the day, because I struggle to concentrate, and so it's setting me up to concentrate a lot better.
Yeah.
Doing my workouts in the mornings. You wanted to
I was gonna say the reality is if we don't have that concentration, we're diluting whatever is happening in the moment. And so if we want the most impactful experience, it has to be with a fully conscious, fully present being. So that slight change in your concentration, it makes a
Totally.
huge difference.
It's made all the difference. It's made all the difference for me. Just setting my day out right the same way you do, where you're starting with an instrument, you're starting with a skill. I've also read that like when you're doing a skill or an instrument, it's stimulating your brain in the right way, because a lot of times when we wake up, the first thing we do, pick up our phones, and immediately we feel bad about it because we see all the emails we have to respond to.
That always depends on what price Bitcoin is.
Right. Now it's become this check the stock market, and
You look at Bitcoin when it goes up 25%, you're like, I'm a rock star. And then an hour later, you're like, what have I done with my life?
and that's the thing is we open our phones, we think it's positive, right? Because you're
Yeah.
kind of excited. You're like, what's the stock market doing? And you're like, what's Instagram up to? And oftentimes you'll open these things and then you realize this just made me feel bad about yourself. But the thing is, you don't actually realize that. But your day will go on and you'll have maybe a mediocre day, or you don't feel so good about yourself and you can't really figure out why.
Yeah.
And that's where the self-care comes in.
There's definitely something to say about learning how to use technology. So this will have to be another topic that we have in the podcast, but in more ways than one, does our technology become an indicator of like our internal mind state? So in many ways, the stuff that you're looking at online, that becomes you. Your phone is a representation of you. So in more ways than one, you could probably look at your phone, digest what kind of social media I'm consuming, what type of photos am I taking, what type of conversations am I having in my text messages. All of those things probably aggregate into what your mind state looks like. So I would highly recommend look through your phone, understand what YouTube videos you're watching.
This is such a great point. This is the
Yeah.
point I was going to bring up, the YouTube videos. So Adam and I,
Love
we
my algo.
we love the YouTube algorithm, because you can see when you open up YouTube, there'll be like 50 recommended videos for you, right? And it is so fascinating. This is actually like a good tip if you're like dating someone, to like ask if you could search something on YouTube, and you can actually see the kind of videos that are recommended, which I think is just so funny. I think like the next time
We're gonna
encourage
we're
them.
gonna take this on social media and we're gonna go viral, or as viral as we want to, or will. Let's do screenshots of
Yes.
so
Yes.
screenshot
share
your algorithm and definitely
screenshots.
share it.
We will share the
and
funniest
hashtag
videos.
adamandthebee.
Brilliant.
Right? There you go.
Brilliant. Yes,
They're
we
gonna
would
s-
love to see your different algorithms, because the funny thing is, so when I before we started getting into this whole like really putting time and effort into our self-growth and
Yeah.
our personal journeys this last year or two, my algorithm was okay, it still has a little bit of this, but it had like bachelor and celeb gossip and just junk. Things that you do not need to fill your brain space with. And look, I am human. I still have a couple that sift in through there, and I do enjoy the bachelor videos. That's my one guilty pleasure, so we'll just cut it at
Yes.
that. But when I started looking at certain things I was consuming, I was like, this is not helpful. This doesn't make me a better person. This doesn't make me think. This doesn't make me grow. And so now the cool thing is we have such a synced algorithm because we actually enjoy similar videos. So the
Yes.
side gurus, so now with our algorithms, it's very like check in with yourself, how to be the best you, just positive things that
Yeah.
when you open up your videos, 10-minute yogas, it's just all the things that are fruitful and helpful
100%.
and yeah, so I just think it's fascinating because that actually tells you, because we don't realize how much we're taking in from social media. And social media can be positive and it can be very detrimental.
It can if you allow it. So again, I would say the responsibility falls on us,
Hmm.
but the first step is awareness, which goes back to self-care.
So the card that I picked for this week is, when was the last time I made you laugh really hard? And what was it about?
The last time you made me laugh.
I mean, besides like every minute of every day.
I was going to say you're pretty funny just as you are. Just
Yeah.
throughout the course of a day, the unique things you say are just hilarious. You're
I
like
have one
you're
for
a
you.
covert funny. You're one of those like funny throughout the day.
Yeah, I'm not super funny with the things that I say, but I'm funny with my delivery of things.
Yeah, I am
Like
drawing.
you're funny with the things you say. Like you are sharp. You and my brother are really,
You're
really sharp.
girl. You are sharp.
It's so funny.
Look at you, sharp.
Like a pencil.
She just called herself a pencil.
Well, pencils are
If
sharp.
I said that, you'd be like, man. Yeah, they are. I was thinking to myself, I was like, who
See, that was
uses
sharp.
the-
See?
so
So
there's
who's the
the
funny one?
example of the
Vote
laughing.
below who you think is the funny one in this relationship. Me or this guy? I forgot his name just the same way he forgot mine.
Is that how we do this? That's an inside joke.
He's just been, I've been umming a lot, where I'm like
Just for the record,
because we talk so much that I need to like catch myself.
BINX talks so much that when she stops talking, something is either wrong or something is going really right. So she's either super involved in whatever the task is, if it's social media or something's wrong. So you don't
Or
want this
I'm just
one
trying to
being
take a
quiet.
break because he doesn't stop talking. And because the thing is, we don't draw the line. If he says something, I have something to say about it. And then he has something to say about what I have to say. And then I have something to say about what he has to say. Hence, we started a podcast. Because we
enough.
thought we might as well do something with all these conversations that exhaust us by the end of the day.
Correct. But I learned very early on the only way to get you to be quiet if I need it is for me to start talking at the same pace and intensity as you are. And you get so exhausted so quick. So
Very true.
if you're out there and you have a partner that's a very strong personality, then I would highly suggest meet them with that energy level and you'll both sleep easy at night.
And let us know in the comments below, who is the talkative one in your relationship? Is it you? Own up to it. Or is it your partner? Who does the most talking?
That's true.
That would be funny. And
I like
I
it.
would love to say the time that you made me laugh, one of the hardest times recently. I mean, he makes me laugh all the time, but it was actually in the podcast episode. I had the giggles when we were talking about periwinkles. It was in episode 2. And for some reason, I found it very, very humorous. But you know what else is making us laugh? Ted Lasso.
Yes.
We have to talk about Ted Lasso for like 30 seconds.
Let's do it.
Adam put the show on. He was
Well,
like,
a good friend of mine recommended the show, and I very much trust his opinion.
mhm.
So ultimately, we jumped into it because it's a great eat real quick and go back to work type of show. But it's amazing, right?
It is one of the funniest shows I have ever watched. The amount of times that Adam and I will rewind and rewatch and rewind and rewatch. This is how I know I found my soulmate just from this one quality is whenever I used to enjoy something when I was younger, my mom and I used to watch The Bachelor, and I always wanted to rewind, like rewatch a scene. And she used to get so frustrated, and I did it with some of my other friends. And Adam and I, when we find something funny, we rewind it, we rewind it, we rewind it till we, get the laughter out, and then we move on.
The sugar-free Santa Monica line, that was epic. That was last night.
That's what
That
it
was what we
was.
experienced on our Friday night. So thank you, Ted Lasso.
We were trying to remember what one joke was that was so funny. What was the
Hilarious.
joke?
I wouldn't be able to say it.
He
Watch Ted Lasso
he
and let
said
us know if you're a fan of Ted Lasso. And if you're a fan of Ted Lasso, become a fan of BINX and Made Adams.
I love how you just intertwined those.
Sorry, I was looking for a shameless plug
He
there.
basically made a joke about how people from Santa Monica don't eat sugar, but he called it like something like a crazy place. He's like, I've only ever heard. He's like, I don't know anybody who doesn't eat sugar. He's like, I've only heard of people like, and that they come from this crazy place called Santa Monica.
Forsaken place.
Forsaken was
yeah.
like that something place, but it was so funny because
Watch the
we live
episode season
here.
2. Check it out.
hmm we're not sponsored by them either, but we would love to be.
Well, in the meantime, let's talk a little bit about collaboration because as
Let's do it.
we look at the music part of this, the Billie Eilish experience, we just were watching a little bit of that earlier today, and I wanted to get your take.
It's a love letter to Los Angeles.
I like that. Love letter. Love better. So with that said, what were your thoughts on the initial part that we saw? So the first thing I caught. What are your thoughts? Thanks, Adam. So there was this intro, and I saw Gustavo Dudamel. But us being in LA, I know who Gustavo Dudamel is, and he's the what do you call him, conductor for the LA Philharmonic. So this is taken in the Hollywood Bowl. There's nobody in the stands, and it's like a pre-recorded show specifically for Disney. It's for
Disney.
Disney. So with that said, I'll open up the floor to that girl.
So we were just discussing because Billy just did this massive concert with Disney at the Hollywood Bowl, and
No one attended though.
yeah, no, you said that, and I was like, oh my goodness, why would no one attend? I was like, I would totally go. But yeah, so it was completely empty due to COVID. But it is fascinating because I think so. Taylor Swift also just did her Disney folklore sessions at the Long Pond Studios. So we were just kind of curious because obviously artists can't perform live right now. So we were wanting to talk a little bit about how we've had to adapt, how we've had to try new things in order to get our music out there to be seen and heard. And one of the things they did was these concerts. And we were curious, what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so a big part of it is if you look at how the industry was from last week, we talked a little bit about the machine that the industry was prior, and now the creators are the ones that are taking the content in their hands, and they get to decide how they want to roll out their content. So as the landscape changes, it's up for the artist to evolve into that new landscape. So what we're seeing is with COVID, the safest approach was to pre-record the content, roll out this content along with the album, and then you can touch more people that way. What I also love is her fan base is now getting hit with the Disney crowd as well. So there's this PG impact to where she's getting a whole new generation of fans that are tied to Disney Plus. So it's actually a really strategic approach towards building her fan base. It's almost like having an Apple device for your kids. They grow up on Apple, and by the time they're 18, they're Apple for life.
Right. So other ways that we're looking into this because virtual live streaming has become a huge part of the industry now. So we're curious on your thoughts if you think live streaming is going to evolve and continue to become a massive thing, or if you just can't take away that live aspect. We will obviously get back to a safe space with that.
Yeah. Well, speaking of live streaming, there's going to be a process that we unfold in the near future. So we won't give too many details about what it is going to be, but our thought process when it came to the music scene in Los Angeles, and we've got some really great mentors and friends, some of the people that you've introduced me to are incredible. And the ones that stood out to me the most were the ones that were very collaborative and they were very focused on building up the scene versus a lot of artists can come from an insecure place, if anything else, and they try to break other people down so that they build themselves up. So part of our vision is to be more impactful into the community for the music industry and then Los Angeles as a whole, because this is a city where it's very transient. There are people coming from all over the world, realistically. So if anything, we want to create a deeper sense of culture within the community.
Yeah, we're trying to be a lot more inclusive and a lot more giving than more so trying to take and receive.
Yes.
So we're going to be doing something very cool. Are we going to announce what it is?
Why don't we show them some behind the scenes
Ooh.
footage here in the near future?
Yes. So what we're going to do is after this episode, we're actually going to be filming a very separate video where we're going to be unboxing certain things. So you stay tuned for that, and then we'll announce in the next podcast episode what we will be doing. Some special plans for that. But to elaborate a little bit on how artists are adapting, how things are changing in this digital era, one of those things is crypto, right? And NFTs is something my brother's been talking to me about recently and sharing a lot of information about NFTs and how people can sell digital art. And that's obviously going to be taking on a whole new space. We wanted to hear from you what you thought about that. Have you heard about NFTs? What your thoughts on that? Leave us a comment in the section below. We'll read them. For the next episode, we can discuss that in greater detail. And so it's live performances, it's crypto. What else would you say is sort of evolving right now?
Are NFTs crypto? Is that considered
Isn't it
crypto?
crypto?
I'm not sure, honestly. So
I'm honestly not sure
NFTs.
myself, so good call out. I'm not 100% sure. I think it might be. I think it's considered a form of crypto.
Well, non-fungible tokens, I think, are purchased with crypto, maybe. So like Ethereum, things
Maybe
of
that's
that
what
sort.
it is. Maybe I've completely confused that. I hope my brother's not watching this video because he will
We're-
be very disappointed that I haven't done my research properly.
We're gonna get some
on NFTs.
Bitcoin bots here in the YouTube algorithm.
Yes, and you can be rest assured I'm going to go be reading up a lot more on NFTs right after this
There
episode.
you go. That's a good investment.
We just came to my favorite part of the podcast. This is what I live for in this podcast. It's the ultimate rap battle.
All right, so we're gonna throw out a word. Is that how? I can't remember how we did that.
Right, so pick a word and we're going to rap. You got a word?
NFTs.
NFTs?
Yeah.
Woohoo. Okay, so I'm feeling that summer breeze.
I want to spend time like I'm investing in NFTs.
Was I supposed to start with that?
It's okay.
I really like crackers and cheese.
My girl sweet like a honey with a bee.
Good one. Take my house, baby, sign the deed.
Plant a couple seeds that you see from the trees. Was that 3? Nice.
You just
It's like
complimented
3x combo.
yourself. You're like, nice job. Self-care, it's important.
How are you talking to yourself?
It's very important.
Either you're insane or you're really
Don't get
positive.
caught up on greed.
I love my girl like my girl loves grease.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say greed. Take my hand, oh please, oh please.
If I could remember your name, then that would be something I could achieve.
Don't worry about them, baby. Just look at me.
And that looks like we should let it be. That's our rap battle.
Here we go. We're setting it free. So
All
let
right.
us know who you think won this rap battle below. Let us know in the comments below.
It's a very heated household. This is what we do off camera as well, right?
Yes, but it is so much fun to do this when we know everyone will be watching us.
There you go. So let us know who won.
Let us know who won, and thank you for tuning in to episode 3 of Adam and the Bee.
We appreciate you.
We appreciate you. You can find us on social media at Adam and the Bee. Right over here, we've made it nice and easy for you. You can find Adam at
MADAATOMS. That's Mada Adams.
and BINX Official, BINX Official. And you can follow me on Spotify under BINX, BINX.
I like it.
Right.
Thanks.
Until next time, lovely ones,
Stay well.
stay well. Bye. Cute.
Still live, girl.